because you were home. Ugh. Horror recap, The Strangers, to get you ready for The Strangers Chapter 1. Kristen and James are a couple on their way back from a wedding, and they're staying at James's childhood summer home, which is kind of isolated. Now, this should have been all sweet and romantical and nice, but no, it's not. It's awkward and tense, because you see, James had proposed to Kristen earlier, and she said no. James understandably is not okay and calls his friend Mike to pick him up later in the morning. Things start looking a little better as James and Kristen appear to be making up. And then there's a knock at the door that interrupts them. It's a young woman asking, "Is Tamara there?" Or, "Is Tamara home?" Whatever. She's looking for Tamara. James is like, "No." And thanks for messing up my groove with your weird, creepy ass self. But no, Tamara's not here. Anyway, James starts a fire for Kristen and then goes out to buy her some cigarettes. In the meantime, though, Weirdo shows up again asking for Tamara. And Kristen's like, "You done came by already, and no, she's not here." A little after that, the smoke alarm goes off because the fireplace is blocked or closed, and Kristen takes the alarm detector off and it falls on the floor. Someone comes banging on the door. Kristen's freaked out and she's making sure everything's locked. Then she calls James so that he'll hurry back, but the landline goes dead. Good thing, though, Kristen has her cell phone, which she has plugged in to charge. She changes clothes and smokes an old cigarette. While standing in the living room, though, we see, but she doesn't see, that there's a guy in a mask just standing silently behind her. And then he disappears, going to hide somewhere like the sadistic, murdery creeper that he is. Anyway, there's more knocking on the door. Kristen notices a smoke alarm has been set on a chair, and her cell phone is gone. So now she knows there's somebody in the house, and it's panic time. She hears noises from the back patio outside, and armed with a kitchen knife, she opens the curtains and sees that same dude with the mask, the creeper that was standing behind her and she didn't see him before. He's right at the window. She's terrified and finds that the front door is cracked open, and when she goes to look, there's a blonde woman with a dollface mask there. Kristen locks the door and hides in the bedroom while these freaks toy with and terrify her by banging against the walls of the house. The noise stops and James returns. Kristen explains what happened, and James finds that his car has been ransacked and the blonde doll-faced woman is just standing there watching from afar. His phone's battery has been stolen, and when he and Kristen try to leave in his car, another stranger in a pinup girl mask rear-ends him with a pickup truck. Kristen and James run back into the house, find a shotgun, and wait in the bedroom. Then Mike, remember James's friend Mike that he called earlier to go pick him up? Yeah, he shows up and gets by James, who thinks that he's one of the intruders. James tries to go and get an old radio transmitter from the backyard shed. He runs into one of the women, tries to her, but is knocked out by the guy in the mask. Kristen runs to the shed and finds a radio, but little Miss Pinup Freak smashes it. Then she gets got by the masked man when she runs to the house. Kristen and James awake in the morning, tied up to chairs. And we get the famous lines where Kristen asks why they're doing this. And the blonde woman tells her, "Because you were home." Ugh. Pisses me off. Anyway, the intruders unmask themselves before taking turns. Kristen and James, when they leave, they come across two young boys passing out religious pamphlets. The boy gives Dollface one, and the strangers drive away. As they're leaving, Pinup Girl says, "It'll be easier next time." The two boys come up to the house where they discover the bodies of Kristen and Mike, and then Kristen scares one of the boys by grabbing his hand and screaming before they call the police.